So today we are still on the Kamma, okay? Kamma section, passing through the Anantariya Kamma, okay? And we heard a few stories on the Kamma. Now, I wanted to show you and want to know this one. What is the difference between the word karma and kamma? Anyone wants to say?
Isn't it just Sanskrit version of karma? What do you mean the Hindu version of karma? Karma can be used for the Buddhist one as well, though, right?
Well, if you're adapting a Sanskrit version, then yes.
Yeah, the Hindu version needs a god who controls your fate. It's like this magical universal force that punishes you or gives you rewards. So according to that, in order to get actions, you need to please God with sacrifices and rituals and maybe bathing in the Ganges or purifying your karma um, by drinking Ganges water. I don't know if it will purify your karma, but it will empty your stomach. There is also the Jain version where they believe karma needs to be exhausted in this life in order to attain moksha, and they do this by very severe austerities, basically torturing themselves because they believe the pure soul is covered in this dirty karma which needs to be washed away. Whereas the Buddha's discovery of the law of karma is it's more like it's more, it's not a magical force, but rather sort of like a network of interactions that are based on our actions and our mind states, our chetana, our defilements, and even the development of the uh, bojjhangas that condition future results either in this life or the next. So the Lord Buddha's system is sort of like a coding, like an algorithm. It's based on like probabilities. You know what probabilities are? It's like the outcome of a certain uh, how likely a certain outcome is. So our actions now decide how likely a future outcome will be, and that is a really complex network of interactions that decide it. So the Hindu karma is a magical force, whereas the Buddhist karma is like a very elegant description of the law of the universe. Yes.
Okay, Niroz, do you want to say something on this?
Okay, Achan. According to my understand, I think the first one, Karma, karma, means the action. According to the Buddhism, according to my understanding, just like the bodily action, speech action, and the chitta mind action. And then the another one, Kamma, means just like work, WORK, work. Just like in the eightfold path, it's called a Samma Ajiva.
Okay. Okay, so the karma and kamma in a way is the same. That's as the Tantita Dhammo said, it's just the Sanskrit verse of a Pali verse. But whenever we take the word karma, normally people understand it in a sense that we are either the so-called Atman is controlling, or we are the slave of our karma. So that is the first understanding of the karma. But when we talk about the karma, normally is free, both the concept of the God taking control over you, or we are a slave of the karma.
There's a lot of Buddhists who believe that still, though. Like there's a magical force that decides, like somebody is there.
So that's because inherited from the first one.
Yeah, Hindu.
Yeah. And so that's why this is the difference. Now that's why normally I prefer to use, whenever talk about the karma, we better adapt the word karma. So it gives a clear signpost where it is leading to. So when we say karma, then immediately they will be asking from the Buddhist perspective, so what is it? But when we say karma, then we have to define in which concept are you asking, and which way you are thinking. So only then we can explain. So that's why I prefer to use karma as a Pali form that directly speaking about the Buddha's idea and the standpoint about the karma. Yeah. Well, however, we can say that in Sanskrit, it is also known as karma. Yeah? So this is, we can define the karma and karma. So, yeah.
You know how people say if a kid got cancer, that's your karma. But that's sort of like the Hindu version, because then the kid doesn't have a choice, like it's almost like you did this, now you have to get cancer, something like this. While if you look at it the Buddhist way, you cannot say that, because Buddha said you shouldn't say things like, he said something like, if something happens, you cannot link it back to the past. I mean, it's too complex. So it could be so many different reasons the kid died from cancer. It could be some action in his past. It could be combined with like the fact that he was born as a human, where we get sick. It could be a result of the doctor's karma. Maybe instead of, he got drunk last night instead of resting before he did surgery. It could be so many different things. But what we do know is, if a future action we need to have wholesome action now, because it will influence the future action.
Right. So the complexity of the karma is so hard to understand. So that's why there is this one. It's called inconceivable matters. Yeah, that one cannot comprehend what it is, unable to understand completely. So that is the qualities of the Buddha, capability, and one who is in the jhana, and the concept of the karma, and also world and its world system. So these are the four things that we will not be able to describe properly. Yeah? But however, we will learn and try to understand the basic concept of it. Yeah? And then, like the concept of karma, even the arhats were not able to fully explain. So only Buddhas can explain the complete complexity of this karma. So that's why do not leave it to the karma. Okay, everything is because karma, and like that.
If Chetana is karma, then Chetana is a force of will which we can control. So it is something we have control over.
Yeah, we can control. There is a saying. It's called Kammavada. Yeah, Kammavada. If you're believing in karma, then everything is on the basis of a karma. Everything that's happening, and that is basically we become a slave. Everything predestined.
Akiriyavada.
Yeah. So everything is destined and everything is controlled by the karma. You cannot change at all. Everything is happening. It's just like a robot, programmed, and you are walking and doing and eating, and everything is happening because of your karma.
Ajivaka philosophy.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why Buddhism is not about the Kammavada. Buddhism is Viryavada. That basically means effort. You can change, so you have a control. Huh? You can control. You can change. You can change your destiny. So if it's a Kammavada, then we cannot be enlightened. But because of the Viryavada, we can enlightened. We can change. So that's why Buddhism is Viryavada or Vibhajyavadi. Yeah. So that is the Buddhism, Buddha's teaching, not Kammavada, not depending on the karma. Now, what do you think of this new and old karma? Which one do you think new karma, and which one do you think old karma?
New karma, one old karma.
Yeah.
According to the sutta, Lord Buddha told that our body is the old karma and the new karma is the sixth sense.
Mm-hmm.
Six senses.
Okay. So, according to the sutta, six senses also old karma. Our body and six senses are also old karma. That's a continuum coming, the effect, the result of our old karma. So that's why we are having that body. And that when we talk about the body, the six senses, a new karma is everything that we create now with the cetana. So that's why this is called new karma is any action that we take performed by body, speech, and the mind. Any action that we do, that is known as the new karma, and the old karma is sixth sense or the body. So that is the result of the old karma. We are having it.
So that I was confused by the Virati Chetasika. It's like so how is that different from Chetana?
Virati Chetasika. I'm not sure. I think it's like the I don't know. I can't say that because I'm not sure.
Achan?
Yeah.
According to the teaching, I think that that six senses are the new karma and the old karma is the body. Just like the Achan said that not the teaching of the Lord Buddha is not the Kammavadi but the Viryavadi. Because if we have a senses and then we can put our effect. Isn't that right?
Is it the sense dose or the sense consciousness that is new karma?
But
because we have the senses that we inherit, but what we do with the contact, how that conditions Vedana and then subsequently consciousness, that is under our control technically. Whereas the sense doors that we do not have a choice over, right? Or the contact, we have a choice on the contact as well,
Yeah,
but the sense doors.
I don't know. But from this is what I have found. Let me find out. So this is what I come to know that where is it now? It's in Anguttara Nikaya somewhere saying six senses comes, six senses arises because of the old karma, nama rupa, and then along with the nama rupa, six senses is already there. And then from that six senses comes to contact with the outside world, then that is still known as just a connection, hasn't created anything else. And then, and with that, so the origin, the karma starts when the six senses comes to contact with another object. So that's why it's known as the contact is the source of the karma. So that's why after contact, then body, speech, and mind go and create something. Then that's become a new karma. So until the six senses, as long as there is no contact yet, new karma hasn't been created. So the six senses, up to six senses is old. So vinyana pataya nama rupa. So nama rupa is a body, is old. And then vinyana pataya nama rupa pataya salayatana. So up to salayatana is the old karma. Now here salayatana pataya tanha. So salayatana pataya vedana. So in order to have a vedana, there is salayatan pataya phassa, sorry. Okay, phassa. So here phassa is known as the origin of the karma. And then phassa pataya vedana, vedana pataya tanha, like that. So further on, going on. So before the contact, the phassa, it is known as the old old karmas, the effect of the result of old karma. And then after that, whatever action we take with intention, the chetana, then that is known as the new karma, that we are creating a new karma.
So when we cut off the stream, cut off this conditioning at Vedana without applying tanha, without looking through the lens of the defilements, that's when we see the vidya, and that is when you cut off the stream of karma.
So in the Paticca Samuppada, when we look at it, Vedana leading towards the tanha, and then avidya coming together, we are forming sankhara. So we are performing something. It's called bodily sankhara, verbal sankhara, and mental sankhara. And then bodily, verbal, and mental sankharas going into the three other different punya, apunya, and nanyanya visankhara. So with that, whatever action we take, then we have this grasping that this is what I have known, this is what I think is right. Perception of that will be taking on, and that's how upadana comes. And because of that upadana that exists, they persist to remain. Okay? That goes on in the Paticca Samuppada. Okay? So this is that's why this is old karma and new karma. Any action that we perform is new.
It's called a new karma.
Yeah, that's a new karma. And this is non-Buddhist view on karma. Early on, Tita Dhammo also mentioned, and I have also touched a little bit. So normally, This is a Pubba Kata Hetu. So Pubba Kata Hetu Vada. So we are the slave of the karma that we have done in the past. The happiness and unhappiness is based on whatever karma that we have done in the past. So we have no control over it at all. The karma is taking care of us.
Yeah, the robots.
So we simply a robot. And then the second one is Isara Nimmana Hetuvada. Yeah? God created one. Yeah, so we are the result of God's wish. And He has the control over us. So our suffering and happiness is based on their wish. So we are basically like a doll. We're basically like a doll that that God can play on us. It's like a puppet. So when it asks you to sit down, we will be sitting like that. So when God asks us to stand up, we will be standing up like that. So all the sukha and dukkha is the God's wish or will. Okay, so will of God. So that is the second one. And this is again all the theistic religion. Yeah, all the theistic religion that we see nowadays. All the religion, like Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Jewish, what else? Sikhism, almost all. So that is the Isara Nimana Hetuvad. It's quite interesting looking at this one. Buddha said it before Christianity came, before Islam invented, and then probably before Judaism, Jews coming in contact with a wider population.
When he knew all the traps we can fall into, he described them all.
Yeah.
Like all the Sanya Vipallasas and the Pariyas. Every single ideology can be explained.
So yeah, so he was probably, yeah, as you say, he knew that we can fall into those traps, and as a result of that, he already gave us to think about it. And despite of that, and we're still falling into those.
People who call themselves Buddhists fall into it.
And then another one is the third one, Ahetuka Paccaya Vada. So it's accidental. Everything is happening is just that is. So nothing to worry. Do not do good, do not do bad, and everything is happening. It's just fall into that. Leave it to whatever will be, will be. Right? So these are the three non-Buddhist view on karma that the Buddha mentioned in so many different suttas. Okay. So this is the non-Buddhist view. And based on that, all six masters during the time of the Buddha were practicing. Now, in terms of the Buddhist concept in the Pali, can be three karmas. So karma according to quality. So karma according to the quality, and a karma according to the way we do, and then a karma taking effort, effect. Effect of the karma. So three ways. Qualities are kusala and akusala. Kusala karma and akusala karma, that is the quality that people will do, and the ways of doing as three way. So kaya karma, vachi karma, and then mano karma. So 3 way of doing. And an effect, so this is the four effects. Dark with the dark results. We will come later as well. Bright with a bright result. Okay, and then dark with a dark and a bright with a dark and a bright result. And then neither of it, and neither. Okay, so these are the 4 effects that we will receive. And this is from this is a summary of the entire Pali concept of a karma. Now here in Pali canon, we have to understand in 6 different ways of what karma is. So number 1, we have to know what is the karma. Number 2, the source and origin of the karma. Number 3, the diversity of the karma. Number 4, the result of the karma. Number 5, a cessation of the karma. And the number 6, the way leading to the cessation. So this is from the Pali canon, right? Pali concept of the karma, coming in this 6 way of the concept. Number 1 is what is karma. So that is the Chetanahang Bhikkhave Kammang Vadami. Chetanahang Bhikkhave Kammang Vadami. So intention, says the Buddha, is the Dhamma. Kamma. Okay. So this Chetana is known as the Kamma. So that's why things that a person doesn't do with intention, that doesn't count as a Kamma. Anything that one does with the intention to do, then that becomes the Kamma. So that's why Chakupala Thera, because practicing a walking meditation and killed so many insects. Immediate after the rain, he was walking. People, other monks complained that he killed so many animals, insects. And then it came to the Buddha, and the Buddha said that he didn't have a intention to do so, and that's how he doesn't have any effect of that. And here in terms of the Chetana, Buddha further discussed that the Chetana has to be in a 3 different way: before acting, during acting, and after acting. Okay, so that is the proper way of looking at the Chetana. Before acting, you have an intention to do that, and while you are doing with a good intention. Yeah, and then after doing it, you're still thinking of that, and that's how it's become a kamma. Okay? Do you remember what is before act? What is the word called in muncha, chetana? I forgot the 3 words. You remember in yours?
Uppe kata.
Huh?
Uppe on ใช่ไหมครับ
Pupe. I forgot. I don't know. I don't remember. The 3. This come on under the giving a dana as well. You have to have a thought of a giving dana while giving, and then after giving, you rejoice on that giving. Anyway, I will find out next time. Okay, so this is the Chetana.
ถูกแล้วครับอาจารย์อุปพเจตนาอันแรก
Puppa Chetana. Okay, let's write it down. Puppa Chetana. And then second one?
second one is muncha chetana.
Muncha. Muncha Chetana. And then last one,
Last one is Apara Chetana.
Apara Chetana. Okay. So these are the three states of the mind we have to have. And only then that becomes the 100% intentionally done that work, and that has got that fulfills the karma. Now the second one, ways of doing, or how one performs the karma. There's a kaya karma, vachi karma, and a mano karma. Performing by body, speech, and mano karma. Now, when we talk about the kaya karma, it comes. Do you remember what are they? Bodily action. Do you remember? Theta Dhammo? Bodily action. What are the bodily actions? 3 bodily actions. Heroes?
Bodily action not หมายถึงในกุศลกรรมบท10ใช่ไหมครับ
ใช่
ก็คือไม่ฆ่าสัตว์ not no killing and any
No
kinds of
killing.
killing
And then
no stealing
no stealing.
no sexual misconduct.
No sexual misconduct. Okay? That's the bodily action. And what about the verbal action?
On the vachi karma, it's like no worshipping, no telling lie,
No telling lies.
Sampapala.
Musawada, and then sampapa.
Sampapalapa.
sampapalapavacha, and not blaming others.
Useless speech. Nonsense.
Can you tell us in order? No telling lies.
No telling lies, no gossiping,
No gossiping. And then no harsh speech. Harsh. No harsh speech. And then
Derisive speech.
yeah, no, maybe useless speech. Better.
Useless.
Useless speech. So that is the vachi kamma. What about the mano kamma?
from the mano karma, wanted the others thing.
Sorry.
Want to get others thing.
Aloba. Amor.
Lobha. Desire. Desire others' possessions.
Yeah.
And then
Piyapata, ill will.
Ill will. And then
And false view.
False view. Dichuju kamma. Okay, so this is ways of doing. People will be doing things, and that's how one will perform the action. And then punya bhi sankhara, yeah, apunya, and ninya bhi. Okay, ananya bhi or ananya, maybe ananya bhi sankhara. Good, bad, and a neutral. So this is the way of doing action. Now, source of the action, how action generates, or how action arises, the origin of it. The first one is given the contact. So contact here, that's why when sixth sense comes to contact, with the sixth sense object, that moment, it's become a source and origin of the karma. Eh? So that's become a source and an origin of the karma. If there is no contact, then there is the no karma arises. So that's why, yeah, this all action will be performed once there is these contacts come together. And further on, another sutta, Buddha talks about there are three causes of for the origination of the karma. That's a greed, hatred, and a delusion. So these are the three main root why one will perform the ceremony, this action. Yeah? And this action again, the origin of it because of the greed, hatred, and delusion. And further, another story saying that people will perform action because of the greed, something that happened in the past. Something is happening now, and something is going to be in the future. Right? So that's why the karma expands into greed divided by 3, hatred divided by 3, and delusion divided by 3. So it becomes the origination of a karma has got the nine parts, 9 ways, 9 sources of the origination of the karma. Sometimes we think of the past. We think of the past, and then we do that. And although we are just sitting here, and we will be thinking about the past memories and thinking of that and willing to have it, and so as a result we perform other actions. Either we speak, either we do, or either we will be thinking in the fantasies and creating this ill will, or creating the thought of, oh, I want to have it, and like that. So that is because of the greed. In the same way with the hatred. So, and that's the past one, greeting a past. And a present, as soon as you have a contact with your senses to the outside, and that is simple to understand, you will have a desire to have it or desire to get it. And in terms of the future, after you have experienced in the past and the present that after having it, I feel like this, want to have it. So you'll be thinking again for the future, like that. Same with the hatred and a delusion. Okay? And further, another discourse, Buddha, I should have put the reference here. Further, another discourse, Buddha talks about this karma. So it's fashioned through greed and hatred and delusion. So this is like the simile given is like someone has prepared the field, and then this field been prepared, and you have added, good compost, and there is a proper sunlight, enough sunlight and enough water, and then that's how a seed that been planted will grow. So similarly here, because of it is fashioned by the greed, and so it is born and then caused by it. So that's how this become the origination of it, and ripens wherever the individual is reborn. So we will be the result of that. And then further, another sentence, whenever that karma ripens, it is there that one experience its result. So, and this result can receive either in this life. So if that's anantariya karma, then we will receive first, and or in the next life, or subsequent lives. So many lives to come, we may receive that result of the action that we have performed. And that's all again based on the source or an origin when the six senses comes to contact, and with that of these greed, hatred, and delusion combined. Okay? So this is the source and origin of the karma. In terms of the diversity, when where one will experience the result, and it's saying it can be experienced in animal, hell, animal, afflicted spirit, ghosts, and then a human world and a deva world. So the result of it we will receive in one of these five states. So that's why the result of the karma is not same. Depends on where you will be reborning. Yeah, such as reborn in a hell is normally known as the delusional state, yeah? Moha chitta, when you are doing it with a moha and a greed, become a sorry dosa, yeah, and then a greed where one will reborn, and that is afflicted spirits, the ghost and petas. Animal is delusion, okay, and the human world is like a 50-50 of all. Everything is there. That's why known as kon. Difficult to comprehend, difficult to understand people, complicated ones. And the deva is again deva probably a little bit more understanding, less. Okay, so this is a diversity of the results that one will experience. And in terms of these results, again, to be experienced in this life, some we will experience in this life, and the others will next life immediately, and then subsequent occasions, and it follows to the next life. What else do you think action that we have performed will experience in this life? Any action? Do you remember?
What, in this very life?
Apart from anantariya karma that we have to experience.
The jhana level.
Jhana level.
Bojjhanga factors as well.
Bojjhanga factors, yeah. See, when we think about this life, normally we will be thinking of negativities. We have to think of both negative and positive.
Even like getting into samadhi has a benefit in this very life.
Yeah. Even we can think of a small action that we have performed. We can see the difference in our behavior, in our emotions, and in our feelings. That is also we are experiencing in this life. That's why we have to go back to the origin of the intention. The intention is Pubbha Chetana, Muncha Chetana, and Aparapara. Aparapara Chetana. Okay. So before we giving a dana, we are happy. So the result is there. While we are doing, we are happy. Result is there in this life. And after done, whenever we think about it, we have received the result in this very life. So similarly, if we have done something bad, the consequences of it, we will receive immediately in this life. Certain things, but not all. So that's also comes under this chetana. That's why whatever we do with the chetana, the intention, then Yeah, the result is there for this life. Right? What about the next life? Immediate result. Immediately after Patisandhi Chitta, after Patisandhi, what do you think? Which action will result first?
Everything. What
Mhm.
it's what the Baba, like where you're born in the which realm you're born in.
Hmm. Okay. So first you have received the body already.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that is the result of your previous karma. Yeah. And here that comes from the sutta. Someone who is uh, handsome, beautiful, full organs, not like that. It's also partly based on the previous actions.
Besides the normal kaya as well,
Yeah,
how you know what
one.
propensity your mind is.
Yeah. So that is also partly based on, not all. The body is full. You are getting that. Okay, nama rupa. You're getting that full. But the rest of other factors can be different based on the environment that you are born, the situation that you are born, and based on that, one will gain other factors. If we look at the Kamma Vibhanga Sutta, Kamma Deepani, and gives very detailed but very hard to understand.
The no, the Magga Phala has effect as well, right? The Saptapati will be born in a certain way,
Yeah.
Anagami will be born in a certain way.
Yeah, yeah. So that is the result in the next life, immediate next life. Like Sotapan and Anagamis, they immediately receive that, the good karmas.
Mm.
They are in line to uh, gain the enlightenment on that very life.
Mm.
And a subsequent occasion, so that will be like non-stop. We are having effects in life after another. Hmm? Not ending yet, haven't completely ended the entire the karma. Now question may come, do we think that we can eliminate the karma or erase the karma? Do you think we can erase the karma?
As we are talking uh, before, that the topic, the core topic is just like non-thinkable karma too. So I think in sometimes I think it can, and sometimes it can. But according to the teaching of the Lord Buddha, and then uh, we can. But when I study about the life history of the monk in the Thailand, just like it can be, just like we can overcome our old karma sometimes.
Hmm.
Just like in the 12th karma, it was been told that ahosi karma.
Ahosi karma, yeah, forgiving.
And the first one in this very life, I remember one sutta ada. Maybe
Okay,
it will
can you
be
tell?
uh, there was one sutta told by the Lord Buddha that if someone want to uh, fulfill your dream in this life, and then you have to practice the five virtues. Just like one is you have to have a faith on Lord Buddha Dhamma and Sangha Shraddha. Second one is the five precepts, Sila. The third one is Buddha, listening to the Dhamma of the Lord Buddha. Jaka, just like you are giving donation. And the last one is Panya, wisdom. And if you have this, if you follow these five virtues and make a wish, and then it will be, you will be success in this life.
Yeah. I think this Ahosi Kamma is called Maha
Where is it from?
Kusala Kiriya Chitta. Sorry?
Where is the Ahosikama from?
Ahosi Kamma, I don't know where is it coming from. There is I think in Abhidharma, it's called Mahakusala Kiriya Chitta. That means uh, you are forgiving whatever you have done. So it's like just leaving it away. Every action that you do hasn't got a reaction. Like that.
From around.
Yeah, that's Mahakusala Kiriya Chitta is, I think it's Arahants.
Oh, then why couldn't Venerable Muhammad Kalyana do that to him?
Because of maybe Anantariya Kamma. So I don't know. Ahosi Kamma, forgiving Kamma is you're cutting the. I think it's there in as well in Dhammapada number 5. Mahi Verena Verani. So it's like the Buddha asked Yakshini to forgive. So do not go into creating furthermore. So forgive the action that you were having in the past. So that's how then the ends there. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's just like, for example, if someone borrow money with us about 500 rupees, and then that's just like the one which we call the Tao Kam Nai Ven Ri Wala.
Chao Kam Nai Ven, resentful spirit. I don't know.
Just like that, resentful spirit. And then if when we have lots of money, and then they will come to ask for that what they have what we have gave to him. And no, what uh, we have borrowed from him, not he have borrowed from us. And then he will come back to ask that money. But if we have lots of money, then we will give it just like we have borrowed only the 500. Then we give him a 1,000. Then of course he will be happy. And then just like it will be a Ahosi Kamma. And just like in the that I have already told you that I have studied in the life history of the big monks in the Thailand, and most of them told uh, their story that they did a deep meditation, just like a jhana level or the just like Buddhist, many Buddhists, and then just like they have a conversation with that spirit, and then they accepted that merit, and then it became a host.
So, okay, yeah, that's a cutting. What's called a sharp cutting. That Kamma, you able to say, okay, enough, and free. Yeah. So I don't know much about that one. I have seen the Ahosi Kamma, like just saying, okay, I forgive, and then forgetting, and that ends the cycle. Like in Exini and Nahi Veren Virani one. And then there is the cessation of it. How karma can be end. And here Buddha said that with the cessation of the karma, contact, the karma will ends. Right? So if there is no contact, then there is no karma. Simple. When there is a contact, there is a karma. Karma arises. And now when there is no karma, then there is no, sorry, when there is no contact, then there is no karma. So that is basically means that when six senses are not coming to contact with any other objects, at that moment, new karma will not be generated by bodily, verbally, and speech. And that's the way to end it. And further on, in the Sutta, Buddha said that the complete end of the karma is the attainment of Arhat. Right? That's the attainment of the Arhat. Then that is the end of the karma, cycle of the karma, anyway. So that is, I think it's called a Mahakusala Kriya Chitta. I'm not sure yet. You need to check it again.
Cessation of contact is the Vijnana Ganidarshana.
Could be.
And
Could
in
be.
another sutta, Arya Atthangika Marga, eightfold path, Kamma Nirodha Kamini Patipata. That means the end of suffering, end of cessation of the suffering.
Yeah, that's the
Kamma.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way to end the suffering, this all the karma, is the Eightfold Noble Path. The Buddha is saying that how to end that. So that's basically coming to the Eightfold Noble Path. So coming back to Eightfold Noble Path is the way to end the entire karma. Entire karma ends if we have practiced this Eightfold Noble Path properly. And in order to understand again this Eightfold Noble Path, then we have to go back to the contact. And when we understand the contact, then everything falls away. Up to now, if we look at the Paticca Samuppada from Nama Rupa, Rupa Salayatana, okay, and then Phassa, Salayatana, Phassa,
Vedana.
Salayatana, Phassa, and Vedana. So Vedana. So these are the four components of we have in our life.
Vijnana.
Hmm?
Vijnana. Vijnana Passa Namarupa.
From Vinyan, Nama Rupa, yeah. So Nama Rupa, Salayatana, Phassa, and Vedana. Also Vijnana, yeah. Vijnana. So these are the five components that we have in this life. And these three are is there, and these two will be actions. Okay, so these two will be the action. Now, within our life, there is these three which we have no control over at all. Yeah, Vijnana, it's already done. We can't do anything. So we are born. So we have a Nama Rupa. We are already born, and this is also we cannot do anything. And whichever body we have taken, it's there. And then with that Nama and Rupa, so there is a Salayatana comes together. When there is a Nama Rupa, there is a Salayatana. It is like unchangeable pack we have. But from this moment, Salayatana, Pachaya, Phassa. So Phassa can be changed. Phassa can be changed, and Vedana can be ended. This is up to our action. So that's how this is become Virya.
When it comes to pasta, it's like sometimes our defilements can condition pasta as well. Like you want to be in contact with some things.
That's why there is a greed, hatred, and delusion comes in. Yeah? So phassa, this is coming in the salayatana pataya phassa, and this phassa, after the phassa, if there is, as early on we said, a greed, hatred, and delusion. Yeah, greed, hatred, and delusion, then actually this greed, hatred, and delusion comes later, here, after Vedana. Phassa hasn't got anything yet. It's just a spark. Okay, and that spark is the Vedana. And after you have seen that Vedana, then you will have this greed, hatred, and delusion. Okay? So that's why as long as we have a salayatana, this phassa also will happen. But after that phassa, we can take control of any Vedana that arises. So this is the point to decide to go to the right or the left. Right?
Pasta, can there be moha?
Moha.
Like the pasta you take where you identify with the contact point. Like this is my senses being in contact with an object. So it's this object contacts with me. But do you not understand Passa through Vedana? So we cannot understand Passa itself, but we can only see Vedana. Or is there a point, can we identify at the point of contact?
I don't know. I think we can't.
Always through Vedana.
Like when we see so many things, but we do not recognize it because Vedana is not, like our consciousness is not there. When there is a consciousness, then Vedana arises, right? So I think there are 7 or 8, 10. I think 10 there. Okay, I, object, I consciousness, then phassa, the contact, then vijnana. Sorry, that's a vijnana.
That comes after contact.
Yeah.
And then papancha.
Yeah. I,
Or object, door, contact.
yeah. No,
Oh.
no. There is more. Chakku sampas. Let me find in the patana. Okay.
Yeah. Requires such a meditative attainment to see this. The only thing we can do is approximate.
18 elements. That's no, not 18 elements is still not complete yet. 7 or 10 or I forgot now. Oh. Let me find
Mahapattan.
Yeah, this Matika. Oh, here. Yeah, see. I consciousness and its concomitants related to sampatichana, mind element. It's not complete yet. Javana kusala chittas. No, it's not. It's not here.
Isn't in the
In Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha mentioned clearly, I is there, object is there, and then there is I consciousness. When there is I consciousness, that comes to contact with the object. And in order to come to contact with the object, there is a light. Okay, there is a light so that we can contact the process.
Yeah.
And then after contact, that generates the Vedana, and that Vedana generates the 3 roots, like 6 roots, 6 moolas. That is greed, hatred, delusion, non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. And then that will comes to prapancha, proliferate, like that. But if we look at from the Abhidhamma perspective, there will be 17 stages of chitta vidhi. And only then we will remember one and recognize one of chitta vidhi.
Need to meditate.
Right? And that moment you recognize one object. Okay, one object. So that's what. And up to here again, I think about 6 chitta vidhis. We're talking about these processes, and then plus bhavanga chitta. So comes the bhavanga, and then that brings to further on and recognition of that. Okay, so it's complex. It's very complex, that one. But before, rather than going into these details, we can, in the practice, normally, in a practice of a meditation, normally we just see the 18 elements is enough. 18 elements. If we understand these 18 elements, that's fine. That basically I plus object plus I consciousness.
3 times 6.
Yeah, I consciousness. And here we stop proliferation. This is enough for us to understand. And here in proliferation, it comes again by 3. Yeah, and that becomes 108. And this is 3 here, basically past, present, and future. And this is enough for us to comprehend. And this is, in Vipassana meditation, this is enough. And we stop here. That's why when we stop here, we are stopping at Vipassana. That's why it comes seeing just the seeing. There is no Vedana, where we are consciously aware. Right? Consciously aware of that.
No more proliferation.
Right? So ending at the kamma. Sorry, ending at the contact, and kamma ends there. So no more kamma created. And this is the Eightfold Noble Path that leads to the cessation. Right? Now you may ask a question where this Eightfold Noble Path comes to be action here. When the Eightfold Noble Path come to act.
So there is Vedana, Phassa, Chetana, Manasikara. So for the recognition,
Recognition. Yeah.
so the Manasikara and Chetana is
Chetana is.
I don't know, it's too complex. Need a few more years.
Okay. So we have to
So
have.
even Namarupa, there are several definitions for Namarupa. Like in Sammaditya Sutta, it's Vedana Phassa, Vedana Phassa, Chetana, Manasikara, and Tanna. No, I forgot. So it's not quite clear cut. Any of the definitions in Buddhism. It's like so Buddha was trying to express this in a way that we can understand it. And for that you need clear definitions. But these clear definitions are just pointing the way. Because when you get to reality, there is no really clear definitions. So it's trying to think too much about this will only give us a headache.
The moment when we understand that we are arhat, so
Yeah, I know.
we
Only
are just
the
trying to make it understandable from what we know.
on all I've seen in these discussions, they're just debating my view versus your view.
Yeah.
So I thought, what's the point in this? Because I was trying to understand deeper into what the Buddha was trying to say. So you get these people who only believe in exactly what the Buddha said. There are the EBT schools, the Buddha Vachana schools. They're just bringing up their views.
Yeah.
Like
they're taking words into life.
Yeah, it's like this way I see it. Like so in Sri Lanka we got Jnanavira Thera. His ideas they were quite good. It's similar to sort of Buddha Das in Thailand. So you get people who propose these views. They just go into so many complicated ramblings. But in the end, it's not doing anything. It's better just to just sort of, I don't know, like trust the just
Simple.
listen. Yeah, like I mean, even then, no, we should listen to them and try and figure things out because it's important to do pariyatti. We can't do just patipada. We just go diluted.
Yeah.
But just not to cling and just to have trust in basic samadhi, trust in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and just do the work.
Yeah. Continue working.
Yeah.
And the more we work, we will be able to understand more. Yeah. If we do not do, then there's simply just like memories. And when we memorize, we have an experience and easy to forget.
Also, it's like there is a maturing in understanding that takes place that only time can give, and more experience, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Again, time, we shouldn't be taking time as like we have to work hard for many years to be able to comprehend it. We shouldn't be taking that view. It's based on our paramitas that we have accumulated from the past. Sometimes it may not take that long to understand. The only matter is we do not know how much paramitas we got. So that's why in order to know that we have to work.
Yeah.
And then as we work and walk on the path, sometime within a few moment or a few sessions or a few days, it makes sense to us, and then that's right. And that's basically because of the paramitas that we have accumulated from the past. In a similar way, similar teachings, for some people, they may not be able to understand.
No matter how you say it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how much you explain. It takes long time to comprehend for them and to make sense of it. So that's because the parameters is weak. Like that. So that's why in a practice of meditation or practice of understanding Buddha's teachings, I always take that it's up to each individual's parameters
Mm-hmm.
so that they can comprehend it. Um,
And our role is to sort of identify where you need to approach this person
mm,
instead of trying to say from our level or like trying to say something. Like, in a way, we should trust in the Buddha, like the Buddha's method.
yeah,
He didn't always start from right from the top,
yeah.
and he always knew how to tailor this properly.
Well, I think in terms of the Buddha's case, it's very complex because sometimes Buddha is using high techniques,
Yeah, he is.
very high teachings, and not just like a linear way.
Mm.
You know, he's teaching because of he know the temperament of those people,
Mm.
so he can give them from their level. So
Mhm.
it's okay. It's
It's the right place.
yeah, but for us, oh,
This this Bante from Sri Lanka was saying that sometimes you need to use the Buddha's words to teach. Like if you try to approach it from the way we understand it, like even if it is the truth, it's very hard for that person to get it because it took us a while. You know, it took not even just I don't mean in terms of time,
yeah,
but in terms of the work put in to get through that. It was the part that we took. So the person they may be misled by it because they could misinterpret what we say.
yeah,
So
very easy, yeah,
so it's better to sort of like trust in the Buddha's word and like try to use what he said because it would decrease the chances of that happening. Like to put the primacy.
Again, that depends on a person's capability to
Yeah,
understand.
exactly. But sometimes you just have to give up, no? Like like Buddha gave up with some people.
Yeah, not some people,
The
many people.
many people is like there's no point in this. Like with the yeah, so many. It's just like there is nothing you could do. Like this is it. This person needs
Yeah,
to
yeah,
keep working
yeah.
like a lot longer.
It's like a pataparamas. Yeah.
Even monks, like I keep thinking of the Mahatanga Sankhya Sutra. So
Mm.
this monk, I forgot his name. Not Sona. Um,
Don't remember.
Pokkarasati.
Okay.
Pokkarasati. He reached a point in a very high meditative state.
Hmm.
Something like just being able to go past seeing the sankhara, seeing sanya, seeing the consciousness at work. And then he fell into a mistradikti that he convinced himself is true. That even all his brothers kept trying to tell him no, no, no. Even when the Buddha said no, he still didn't believe him. So the Buddha just said, "That's it. This
Hmm.
can't do anything for this guy."
Yeah. So it's complex.
Mm.
It's not easy. Uh, and even the Pali words that we are saying, and so many people, so many monks trying to make sense
Mm.
what the Buddha meant, analyzing the word into very detail.
Mm.
Yeah. And we never know that's true.
No.
Buddha maybe is different now. The Buddha simply maybe used that word that was used to find to
Mm.
say that word. Yeah? And we are trying to go into the deeper meaning from what does that mean.
Mm.
So it can be very difficult, but just satisfying for us that okay, this is the meaning of this word, so that's why it should be this.
Yeah,
But
it could be everything as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the word that Buddha used, uh, probably the contemporary use of that word may be something else,
Yeah, that's true.
right? But that is good for that community, that society that used.
Yeah.
And now we are making a word as the let's go authority
Yeah.
of disease, and then we're trying to link with other teachings
Mhm.
Oh, this means this. So look at Buddha said in here, this is that means
Mhm.
this. It could be different,
Yeah,
the different contexts.
this
Like
is
even English language, when we say words for different occasions,
yeah.
same word,
Well, it means
but
different.
context is different. Like that.
So we need the commentaries for this. Like we
Definitely,
have
yeah.
to trust the commentaries. But even like one approach I like about these EBT people is that they think we should take this into context and look at the whole Tripitaka as a whole,
Yeah.
and not just look at one line in one sutta and say this is it. That's our view.
Yeah.
But if you know, like if you can put it into context, then there is a better understanding
Yeah. Yeah.
and understanding in the whole body of the teachings what
Yeah.
is being said.
Yeah. So that's why we need to be very careful with that. Yeah. Okay, I think we've discussed different things,
Yeah.
but useful one. Niroz, do you have anything to share before we say goodbye today? Any story you prepared?
Yeah, then I'll tell one story.
Okay.
Uh, Actually, there are some similar stories about the topic which we are talking about in the Buddha's era. There are altogether uh, five people and the devas who have been swallowed by the whole and dragged them to the Naraka hell because of their unwholesome deed, which we are talking about is Anantariya karma.
Mm.
So this is one of the story that I was going to show you. Uh, this is the story of the Sariputra and the Mahamod Kalyana. In the Buddha's time, uh, there was a two monk called Sariputra and Mahamod Kalyana. They were the very uh, good monks, noble monks. They have already achieved the Arhat. And one time, both of them went to the woods to practice the meditation in the deep layer of the meditation channel level. And actually, both of them are in different sides, but in the same wood. And then here are the celestial beings, Yakha. Two Yakha came to that place to visit. Actually, they are just visiting in the wood too. And then one of the Yakha uh, saw the Sariputra. And when he saw his head, there is no hair in his head. And that Yakha began to think uh, about the bad things. He is thinking that I want to hit uh, very badly on the head of the Sariputra. Actually, he don't know he is the monk is Sariputra. And then the another one, another Yakha, he was a friend of this Yakha called the Nanda Yakha. His friend was very good one. He knows the virtue of these both monks, and so he told to his friend that not to think and to do these kinds of unwholesome deeds to with these monks. If you do these unwholesome deeds, then you will be punished surely. And then even then, when his friend uh, just like giving an advice to him not to do, even then he use his weapon uh, to blow to use his weapon with a big blow and hit on the head of the Sariputra. Actually, in the story, it was been told that within his power, that Yakha's power, if there is a big mountain, one goes on a big mountain, then even he, if that Yakha hit with his weapon on that mountain, then the mountain will be crushed. Uh, And then when that Nandhiya Yakha hit with his weapon to the Sariputra, and there is no any kinds of effect with the Sariputra because he was in the deep meditation. He is contemplating Uh, so there was no any effect. But in the another side, the Mahamod Kalyana was watching everything what was happening, because he was in the very in the next deep forest. Actually, we cannot see from this, but he was seeing with his divine eyes, so he can see everything. And then what happened was, suddenly when the Yakha, Nandiya Yakha hit the Sariputra, his body began to hit it. And what happened was, because of his unwholesome deeds, what he have done, the earth opened up and swallowed him and dragged him to the hill.
Mm.
And and then Mahamod Kalyana came to that place and asked him, does something happen to you? And then he just said that generally well, and he was just like hitting into the head and said, uh, side headache, little side
Yeah,
headache.
yeah, that's a small headache.
Yeah, and then saying to Mahamud Kalyana that, oh, actually Mahamud Kalyana said to the Saripura that, oh, you are very great. Even the Yakka hit you very badly, there is no effect on you. And then Sariputra also told that, I haven't seen anything, but you are also very great. You saw from the very far. You have a divine eye. So this was one of the story that Nandiya Yakka is going to attempt to kill the Arhat because of his unwholesome deeds. Uh,
Mm.
so he went to the hell.
Mm. Thank you. It's interesting. I have read this one before as well, but I forgot that in terms of the Arhantas, Arhantakata, yeah, he had an intention to kill the Sariputta. So he thought that I can smash this whole mountain in one shot. So this little man sitting meditation with no weapons, I can smash him to to the dusts. So he used all power to smash him, but rather Sariputta didn't feel anything at all. But because of that action, he was swallowed by the earth. Yeah, and Moggallana comes and asks, "How are you?" "What do you mean? How are you?" "I'm okay." "Don't you feel anything?" "Oh, I think I heard a little bit the sound of this little sound somewhere." And then Moggallana asks, "What about your head?" "Oh, there's a little bit itchiness there." So then that's how they both discussed about the power of the samadhi and magic power of Moggallana. Yeah. Yeah, very laughing. When we read it, it's quite interesting.
So actually, there were five people who was been followed in the Buddha's era who has done the unwholesome deeds. Anantarekam. One is the Nandiya Manab who raped the Upanwanadiri,
Mm-hmm.
and Nandiya Yakha, this one who
Mm-hmm.
beat the Sariputra, and another one is Suppa Buddha, the
Also,
father of the Suppa Buddha is the father of the Yasodhara and the uh,
yeah,
Devadatta,
yeah,
and another one is Pinchamanavika,
yeah, mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
another one is altogether five. I remember. Suppa Buddha
Maybe
and
Devadatta.
Devadatta.
Yeah.
Super Buddha, wasn't he the man who couldn't sleep because of his boils, so he kept everyone awake and he heard the Buddha and attained?
No, there is two super Buddha. One is the very old man, and he have just like uh, some kinds of disease.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah, and that his name is also Super Buddha. Then another one is the first one who has a disease is the Sotapanna, stream introvert.
Ah, yes. Yes.
And then another one Super Buddha is the father of the Devadatta and the Yasodhara. He was very angry with the Lord Buddha when the Lord Buddha went back to the palace to preach his relative. And then what happened was he was collecting the arms and he was blocking the way
mm,
because he was very angry that because of you, my daughter and my son is in the suffering like that.
mm,
measuring, and so because he don't want Buddha to go and take a lamps over the village, so he was blocking the way. And even the Lord Buddha, uh, just like เตือนนี่ภาษาอังกฤษชื่อว่าอะไรเตือน
advised
advice เตือน
เตือน warn
yeah, Lord Buddha warned to the Super Buddha that not to do these kinds of unwholesome deeds, and then he was still doing, and then just like Lord Buddha smiled a little bit, and the Ananda saw the reaction of the Lord Buddha. So the Ananda asked the Lord Buddha that is anything going to happen or something, and then Lord Buddha told that within in the 7 days, and the Super Buddha will be dragged to the hill. The earth will allow it happen. Really happen.
Yeah.
Actually, when he heard that he want to make the Buddha in just like not to happen that what the Lord Buddha told. Actually, he was in the very big palace, in the seventh layer of the palace. Yeah. But because of the karma he have done, that he even cannot become come out from that karma. At last, he went to the awakening, the deepest state.
Yeah.
Super Buddha.
Okay, so we stop here. Okay, and we, in a way, we have completed basic concept of karma. It occurs in the Sutta Pitaka. We haven't touched from what the commentary from the Karma Dipani or from Abhidhamma perspective. Okay, if you go into the Karma Dipani, then it will be so many details of the karmas, what are the karmas, and how this generates. And if you go to the Abhidharma, again, there's a big book, and it still will be debating what is it.
So even Patana gets into more detail the rest of the Abhidhamma.
Yeah.
So it's like
Okay, so we are not touching on both sides. We are just talking from the sutta side. Okay, so, and this is the summary of the sutta. I think it's the last one. I think there is another last. Yeah, I think we have discussed this last one, the 4 kinds of karma. So these 4 kinds of karma, from dark to dark, bright to bright, and dark bright to dark bright, and then none of these 2. So we will discuss the stories on the concept of it next session. Okay. And for Monday, I'm not sure whether I will be able to teach. So better we stop Monday. Wednesday will be okay. Yeah. So Monday we will not have a class. We'll have a Wednesday instead. Okay. So thank you, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Okay.
สาธุครับ
สวัสดีครับ